I want to give you a little slideshow today, really to show you some things that we have done. And then at the end, I'm going to offer you a special program, a Feeler First project that I've really never done anything quite like this. My stuff tends to be high ticket, you know, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it's going to be, because the kind of work that we do requires a bit of transformation. It's like I get masterminds and I pay 20 or 25 grand or whatever I have to pay if I want them enough. And it's not so that I can sit there and take stuff in. No, that's not any good. That's like reading a book. Nothing has changed. I have to change how I think about things and how I see things and the questions I ask. And I have to change who I am to somebody else who can be the person who's going to generate the kinds of income that I want to make. So you don't really just get a book or a video or pay 10 grand and hope that paying the money does it. It doesn't. What has to happen is I have to present myself to the world so that I'm perceived in some way or other, me or people that, you know, that share my perspective, that we are out there and connecting with people who share that view. And that means we have to make sure that we come across a certain way. And that means we probably have to be different. If you're making $100 a month now, you're going to have to be somebody else to make 500 a month. You do. You have to have different beliefs, different ideas, different reactions to people. You know, if you think that 10 people say no, therefore nothing is going to work, you never will make any money, because that's the wrong person. That's the person that you were at the very beginning. Then somebody tells you, well, 10 out of 10, that doesn't feel great. But, you know, there are like 300 million people. The company's alive. You know, there are a lot of people that are buying the product or doing the business. So what do you think you might have to change? You know, a person can say, well, it's me, I can't sell. Well, then no problem. But if you know that somebody else can and did, that maybe you just need to look at things differently. Because people who make a lot of money, I'll tell you, they think differently than other people. They aren't different, but they have become different because they think of new ways to do things and new ways to react to what all the rest of us react to in a different way that keeps us kind of down. So that's why these programs cost a lot, because it takes a little effort on our part to help you do that. It's not easy. So today I have a mini, which is going to achieve this in a little bit different way. And so that's what I'm going to show you here, and why we have this, and why, you know, you might want to be one of the special people to get into this. All right, so I never sell, and you don't have to sell either, okay? So here is the way out. This business about, you know, every network marketer I've ever trained over the years and everyone I've ever met, that one of the first things they say is, oh, you don't have to sell. We don't sell, we share. Well, and I always thought, why do you always say that? Like, if you don't know how to sell, well, then learn how to sell. Like, who cares if you have to sell? I like selling a lot. But they kept saying, you know, we don't sell, and so we really share, and it sells itself, so you don't have to really do any of that stuff. And yet, if you think about it, all of you that are on this call, if you've called 10 people, you probably feel like you were doing a lot of selling on the call in a very unusual, I mean, you know, a little bit different way, okay? So this is not some lame trick like, oh, you know, go for no, and you're going to love no, and you're blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's none of those things, okay? And the product price points that I've done this, $50 to $25,000 packages. The first thing I ever did was water filters, and we sold $25,000 packages, $10,000 packages. We had $125,000 packages. So the product ranges from $30 a month to $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month. That's where we've used this, okay? And I can just tell you that in the YES program, which is relatively high ticket, it's $7,500 one pay, and it's $8,800 if you pay it over 4 months. We don't really sell that either, okay? I'm not even part of the sales team. So I don't even talk to anybody before they come in. And I rarely talk to them before they come in anyway. I spend my time with people who have shown me that they want to work with me by coming into one of my programs. So I'm not part of the sales team. The people I spend my time talking to are either people that are on my own team or people that are clients, because that's who's worth my time. And you could say, oh, you're being kind of snobby or whatever, but you only go around one time. If I know somebody has paid some money for anything, even a book, $5, or, a bigger program, I know they've made some little bit of commitment or they spend a lot of time. And I suggest you do the same, because otherwise you're really just spending your time talking to a lot of people who are never going to buy, as you probably all have done. Okay. So, but I'm going to show you how to do this so you can do the same thing. So here's what we do. We make the right people fall in love with us a little bit before we ever talk on the phone. And some of you know we have a software that helps you do that, but that's not what this call is going to be about. There are different ways to make people fall in love with you before you talk to them about what you've got. Okay. They have actually asked to talk to us or to you, show you how to do the same thing. And so they're waiting to talk about your specific thing, the type of thing that you have. So it's not just, oh, do you want more money? You don't want to talk to people like that, because who says no? Everybody wants more money. So they're going to be, what I'm going to show you is how to have people waiting to talk to you about the type of thing that you have, whether it's a weight loss and fitness, whether it's energy, whether it's skin, or whether hair, or an alternative income or additional income or a new career via this new way you have of doing network marketing. So before you ever talk to them, they know all those things. And so you know that the chances of them wanting to say yes are much greater than people that you just call off your list, right? Even when your thing is network marketing, which of course I just said. So what's coming down here is the opposite of everything that you've ever been taught. So most of you who know me know this. It's never been different, but I just want to warn you again that what I'm telling you now is the opposite of what you have probably always heard. And here's how you judge whether or not you ought to listen to any of this, or to anyone else for that matter. The way you judge is, are you doing the business now? Yes. Of whatever you're doing. Is it working? If it isn't working, I would tune in to anyone who has a different approach that's built 6 different companies over the years and has been really the top recruiter and customer getting, certainly in the top 10 of all of them. And usually I'm done at the top within 90 days. So I would listen to somebody like that if I had not been successful. That's who I pick as my mentors, people that are way past me, but they once were where I am right now. That's why I choose them. So you want that. Or the other thing is, if what you're doing you find so unappealing that you don't really want to do it, this is another time that you should listen to anyone else that has a different way. Because if what you're doing either so disgusts you that you can't stand doing it, that's how you're going to build anything. And if what you're doing doesn't work for you, you get a lot of nasty comments from people, then what are you going to do, right? All right, so here's what we're going to do here. I'm going to show you this. The industry standard, which is to call everybody on your list and say, oh, Mom, you got to see this. Oh, Tom, your brother, can you please do me a favor? Right? We know this, right? Or, oh, Aunt Lulu, I have got the greatest breakthrough scientifically proven product. Or you call your sister, hey, if I could show you a way to work only a few hours a week and earn a full-time income. Basically, when you do these things, right? You do this, oh, I have this great thing, would you do me a favor? I got to come over, you're going to love it, blah, 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 blah. What happens is that the person knows nothing about them or what is going on in their life. So you know nothing about them as it relates to what you've got, with their interest in it. And you don't have any idea what is going on in their lives when you call, right? Because you don't know, you're calling your 100 besties, right? Or your contact list. And they know nothing about what to expect when you call, because you haven't said anything except, oh, you got to, oh, remember that? The routine? Like we had a girl once who got on the call and said, my husband has been taught to do this and run around the house or do a lot of jump rope or jump up and down so that when you're talking to people, you're actually breathing hard. Hello, Aunt Lulu? Oh, I got, that. And that was what they taught. It's amazing. All to, try to create something that wasn't really there. And so, of course, the rest of the call, what are you going to have to do? They know nothing about what you're calling, right? They don't care anything about it. How do you know? You don't know anything. They clearly weren't thinking about you when you called. You had no idea except, hey, I got to tell you this thing. And then they weren't looking for what you have, right? So there you are. You can see why you sort of have to sell, right? What do you have to sell? Well, if you're texting people blind or PMing people blind or calling them blind, meaning they have no idea really what you're calling about, and you have no idea if they have any interest in the kind of problem that you can solve, then you have to sell, 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 sell on the call. And so why do you have to do that? Well, here, look at here. All right, so these are the things that you're doing. So here's what you want to do instead. What if you could talk to people who already know what you've got? They already know, see? Not specifically the company or the product, but the idea of what it is that you do for people, right? They want to know more because they're interested in what you've got. They're interested in certain kind of weight loss or fitness, not just anything. I'll show you in a minute. And when you get on the call, what you're doing is basically answering questions about how it could help them and how it works. You're not selling anything because they are already leaning in. They already know, oh, I want to know more about this. Is that going to be everybody? No, but the ones you talk to will be like that. Okay. So they're already a little bit in love. All right. It can be a few lines. Now tune in because it's going to be quite tricky if you miss it. So here we go. It can be a few lines. So here's the trick to make this work. And of course, that's what I'm going to offer to give you some extra help with at the end here. You need to know who you can help. Got it? So you need to know, I help yada, yada with yada, yada without having to do yada, yada via yada, 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 yada. Okay? That's the key thing. Now you'll learn how to do this, so don't freak if you don't have that worked out, but you need to know who you can help. That means you know that your product or your business is not for everyone. Everyone is not a market. No matter what they tell you from the front of the room, everyone is not your prospect. Almost nobody is your prospect. You know, if you had people coming door to door 24/7 knocking for pots and pans and for cars and for hats and for clothes and for this, you'd probably start locking your door because you don't want all that stuff. They have no idea what you want. This is what we're doing to other people. Oh, you gotta have this. And this is not how you make friends and influence people. Steve Jobs never did that. No. The people who come into Apple stores are already ready to buy. That's the way you want to be. That's the way you want to be, okay? So it can be just a few lines. Like, for example, it could also be a short video, a PDF, or an email that you create, which is going to be your feeler first item, okay? All right, so you need to know who you can help. So let's do an example. Now tune in, because it's not as easy as it looks, but you can do it. You just have to think about it. Here we go. Weight loss and fitness, got it? So number one, you need to know that you are an option. You see what I mean? You are one option that people who are interested in weight loss and fitness have. You are one of probably hundreds. And if you're not sure, Google it. See? Google it. So you offer one path of dozens of paths that they have available to choose from. If they were to Google weight loss or ask their friends, hey, what are you doing for weight loss? They would get a different answer. Google, I think, is like, what, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million different options for weight loss and fitness. So you offer one of those paths to get the outcome of being slinkier and being fit, right? And all the good things that go with that. So your path is for people who, and you got to say blah, 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 and who, blah, 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 and who, blah, 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 blah. In the same way that you buy when you go shopping for shoes. What are you doing? You stand at Nordstrom's. Those of you who know Nordstrom, right? Wonderful shoe store. And I don't know, I guess people, because of the virus thing, everybody's kind of clamped down. But in the days when you could actually look at 5,000 pairs of shoes, when you stood there looking at all the shoes, the salesperson probably going to say, okay, so who are you looking for if you're a lady? For you or your kids or your husband? It's all winnowing down the options. I'm looking for me. Okay, that's women. What kind of shoe? Well, I want a shoe for me, right? I want a shoe for women. I want a running shoe, right? Winnowing down. I want, which is Nike, and which has shocks, and which is light green, and which is size 8, all that. And by the time you have winnowed down these options, the salesperson probably brings you 3-4 boxes out of those 5,000 pairs of shoes, and you try them on and you take one home. This is the process that you want to follow. This is, I mean, nobody goes shopping for shoes and tries on all the pairs of shoes in the store. Children's, right? Adults, boys, girls, boots. You don't do that. So you don't want to do that to the people either, right? People they come with their biases and whatever. And so you want to play to that if you want to build fast. Now, if you want to build slow, you can convert the world if you want. Be my guest. So you can convert them. So what? Don't you want the low-hanging fruit first, people who are already interested in that thing that your path, you see. It's not your thing, it's your path. Your path is what you're going to be selling. The way to their nirvana, you see. Because there are hundreds of paths. And you got to get good at selling your path, and we'll show you how to do that. Okay? So here's an example of what we did. Using just a texting language. I'm going to show you a PDF and I'll show you a video. Okay? So we did, I think we signed up like 167 people with this. So what was the first thing? They voted that they were a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. That they were a 10 on interested in weight loss, energy, and cleansing. That was part 1. So I'm looking for women's shoes. Got that. That's a 10. That's the comparable, okay? People who are a 10, they voted a 10, that they're a 10 on this, that they have an interest in weight loss, energy, and cleansing. And then number 2 is people who know they have to change what they eat. Now, why do I say that? Because with this experiment, people had to change what they eat. Now, if you are marketing some kind of an appetite suppressant, you wouldn't put who have to change what they eat. But if you're marketing an alternative food program, an alternative eating program where they eat different things than they're used to, then this is what you want to put there. People who know they have to change what they eat. Or people who know that they have to, whatever it is that your product requires they do to get results. See, that's the key. Got it? Then, in addition, who realize that they're going to be replacing groceries that they normally buy. So what is that telling you, right? Hello? This is part of what they're going to be doing. Notice they don't know what the product is. Nobody knows what it is. We never told them until they were ready to hand over money. And then who know that it's not going to be a $59 bottle of diet pills. So what are we saying? This is not a cheap date. You're going to have to change what you eat, realize you're going to be replacing groceries you normally buy. Hello, that's not cheap, a cheap date. What's most people's grocery bills? $100, something like that, $200, whatever, depending on how many you buy for, right? So you see how this works? And who know they have to stick for 90 days to get that new body back. So these are criteria that you come up with depending on what you want before you talk to them. Now, these are language things, verbiage that you can use. There are a lot of ways to do this, to create these feeler first documents. It's magic for what you do. If you are tired of talking to the wrong people and selling your heart out on the company and the product and blah, 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 you want to try something different. This is what we've done for almost 30 years. By the time we talk to these people, most of them were leaning in. And I would say of the people that we talked to after they had said yes to all these things, there were a few other things. It was either, I can't remember, we did this 6 times. In this last one, I think we signed up close to like 200 people. Maybe another one was 279 people. And of the people that we talked to on the phone, because I had somebody trained to do this, how to talk on the phone, after we'd done all this kind of, the kind of qualification we talked about, make sure they're the right one, so they're leaning in. I think she did 7 or 8 out of 10 signed up. And there was not an angry person. Nobody hung up. Nobody lost a friendship or a relationship. It was just, they were ready to go. And that's all she talked to. Nobody else. You don't have time. The world's very divided. People are very different, as you can see. So you don't want to spend your time arguing, at least I don't. If you want to go fast, you want to cut to the bottom line. Who are the people who are most likely to say yes? And the class I'm going to offer you at the end, well, some of you, the assignment's going to be, you're going to talk to 10 people in a week, and 5 of them are going to be extremely interested before you ever talk to them. And once you learn how to do this, your whole life, your whole business life changes. Everything changes. When you need to organize groups of people, get people on a movement, on a track, on anything, this is how you do this fast, you see? All right, so this is language. So on the phones, a person working the phones, I think she signed up 7 or 8 out of 10 all the time, 24/7. That's what we did. Okay. Now here's another way to do it. This is a PDF, and I borrowed this from the gal that's going to be co-teaching this course with me, and she did a PDF because you can make PDFs. So this was made on Canva. Her feeler first was a PDF, and her audience was people that are shift workers. Again, never everyone. That's just get that out of your mind. It doesn't matter that everybody might want more money. They don't want it your way. So just get over it. It's not how it is. Unless you're having a good time with everyone, I would just get over that altogether. It's just, why do we have 100 brands of toothpaste? Because no, Tom's is not for everyone. Gleam is not for everyone. You got to get over it. That's a way of thinking that will keep you forever small and unhappy. If you want to keep thinking that way, be my guest, but expect to be small, to stay small in your business, and to be unhappy, and to hear no all the time, because that's what you're asking for, okay? Now, in her case, her program was something for cleansing and energy, and it was also something where they had to change what they ate, okay, the kinds of things that they were eating. And so she decided to get quite creative and said how to survive shift work. Now, those of you who know about shift work, this can be airline pilots and stewards and stewardesses. It can be nurses, the whole medical establishment. What is shift work? 12 to 14 hours at a time. Are you kidding? Caregivers. Oh, if that isn't a shift work, it's 24, right? There's no shift at all. It's like 12 hours, 14 hours. And so she said, how do you survive this without becoming a zombie? So she's calling her people shift workers. And she made them a PDF where she had a link to her, her software, her readiness ritual. But I'm going to show you how to do this without that, so that those of you who aren't quite ready to do the YES program and you want to do something on a pretty small scale, but that is effective like this, then you can stay on to the end of the call. And she's got 5 or 6 or 7 different pages. And what she did is she would give this out to people who were shift workers, because on her page, she's a shift worker. And so there are a lot of people on her that are nurses and doctors and all these different people who do shift work. And so she said, I've got this thing if you want to have it. If you're a shift worker and you think you're becoming a zombie, not if you're a shift worker, that's not it. No. If it's a shift worker and you're worried that you're becoming a zombie, that you can't even function when you get home. That's the way most of those people are. They've given everything to their patients or to whoever that they're taking care of. If the pilots, and then what are they, 12-hour, 15-hour layovers? It was horrible. I mean, long shifts that they work. And who is it from? A former shift working nurse of 15 years, right? So she helps people do this. Who responded? People who were shift workers and worried about, becoming useless at home to their family. And I think she gave it out to 20 people, and 5 of them came back right away and said, book me, I want to talk to you. And I think she signed up all 5 of them. And I don't know, half more have signed up. But you see, she didn't talk to anybody until they met these requirements and then went through the thing before they talked to her, okay? Now, another type of feeler first is a video. Now, some of you have seen this, the old way, new way. This is called the 5 shift video. And this is a feeler first. We let people know, if you're having a hard time in network marketing and and because you don't like talking to people, and selling them, and you don't really like having 3 ways because it feels like you're ganging up on people. If you don't really want to copy paste this hypey type of language, check this out, because if you're doing any of these old ways and you don't really like them, we have some alternatives. So people who make it to the end of that video and book a chat are already leaning in. They don't all come in, but nobody ever gets mad. Nobody gets upset. They're all grateful for 15 minutes of time to help them with every one of them. Some of you have been on these calls, So this is another way to do that. And so what I'm going to do is, we've been thinking about this for really a couple of months. What can we do for people who are not quite ready for the yes, and they want to learn how to be someone who can get the right people on the phone in the first place. So if you love what you have, if you think it can make a difference, if you are somebody who wants to make a difference, you want to help your market, not just get people in. It's about advising and helping people instead of just getting people into your downline. If you really want to care about your market and you think you can, which is where all the money comes from, by the way. It's not you getting anything. And it's not just giving and handing out. That's, then you're going to be in the poorhouse. But people make a lot of income because they learn how to care about their market with what they've got, whether it's your business or your product, okay? So if you want to do that, I have corralled one of our super students who's really become a friend over the last few years, Brooke Nielsen. And she is somebody who's been very successful using different kinds of feelers, Feeler First PDFs and whatnot. And we're going to be teaching this class together, this program together. It's called Feeler First Project. And we barely have an order link up. Nothing's going to be there until August 8th. And this is going to be a live event. I'm going to do it, it's over 4 weeks, 4 Saturdays. And this is what we're going to teach you how to do. Create Feeler First type document or information, whatever it is, whatever format you're going to choose, because you all can do different ones. Some of you won't want to do video, and some of you will want to do video, and some of you will want to do PDFs. Pick the thing that comes most naturally to what you want to do and create. You don't need to create one of each. Just create one. That's what you'll do, and then test it so that the people that you end up talking to are the ones who already have an interest, who are already leaning in, who already want those changes with, the stuff that you've got, okay? So that's what I have for you, this project. So you probably want to know how much it is, right? It's 4 weeks is what we're planning right now, right? Once a week. And of course, you're going to do assignments. Oh, and this is not something where you just want to listen and sit. I mean, you can if you want to just listen and sit and not do anything, and you won't complain that you don't have any change in your life after, okay? But we're really looking for people who want to do this. That's why I'm doing it live, because we are going to help people live and to adjust what they do so that you could, provided that you've done your share of the work, we will make it better, whatever you've got. It's going to be on Saturdays in the States, and it'll be Sundays in Australia, because I know we have a group there who wants to come in already. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to learn how to make these, okay, based on who you help. And I will show you how to create your I help statement so that I can help you figure out who you actually help versus everyone. Okay, it's going to be a big deal. All right, then the cost of the program, we're going to have the cost be $1,800 US, okay? And for the first 25 people, we are going to give them a discount, this amount, okay, which means that your cost for the first 25 people is going to be $1,195. So that's the story for the first 25 people, and then for the live event. And then after that, it'll be $1,800. I mean, probably, when I laid this out, one of my media buyers said, well, it should be $2,997. And I thought, well, that's $3,000. Like, well, if I can make it a little bit less, then more people will be able to do it. The purpose of this program is to help you transform how you do your business if you're not having a good time right now. And if you want to go fast, and if you're willing to learn what your people who would be your ideal clients, what they would respond to, because they're there. It's just not everyone. You see, so you have to really be willing to change how you see what you do. It's not about getting people in your downline. I'm telling you right now, nobody, unless you talk to somebody like me who really knows this business. I mean, I've built 6 of these, and we help countless people do this. So I know every trick in the book. Oh, you can make a lot of money in the downline, just recruit, recruit, recruit. But nobody can recruit. Why? Because the people doing recruiting aren't making any money. So when a person says, well, you can make all this money, or you can make full-time income, part-time, they'll say, well, what are you making? So you're saying all the stuff that makes the other person go, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm just getting started. Well, then what'd you give me all this mouth for about how great you are and how great it can be? Why aren't you doing it if it's so easy and so fast, you see? Okay. That is the problem. So you don't lead with stuff that you cannot really support yourself, because in the end, the other person is signing up with you. And if they don't think you can really fly a helicopter, I don't think they're going to say, well, let's get in together and learn how to do it together, shall we? Who's going to do that? Right? Okay, so we have that. And then we have a payment option also for the first 25 people. And that is 2 payments at $635 times 2. That's it. So you pay a little bit more to get the payment. It's like $1,300. And that's for the first 25 people that are in there. The whole live is going to be limited to just 100 people. We're going to make this absolutely the best thing on the planet. And then when it's finished and we have edited everything, we'll have a course. This will be the course. That'll be the recorded version of the class. Okay. So that is what I have for you guys today. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, Kim, so, Bonnie is asking, how long do you think it'll be on Saturdays, or what times?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Saturdays, right. Let me put that right now. I'm figuring 1 hour, and, it might be a little bit longer, but I'm figuring an hour to give you the information, show you how to do it, and then you go back and do it, and then we'll do it again. We'll probably also have a Facebook group for this, so we get a little extra. So 1 hour, and the time is 3 p.m. New York. That's the time. And Pacific would be noon. All right, so that's, so Pacific noons, I figure about an hour each time. And of course, we're going to record them. The only reason I'm doing this live is because I'm expecting that we'll have people that we help in different ways, and I want to have that all be a part of our recording. So other people coming in can see, oh, I see, that sounds pretty awful, but now it sounds pretty good, and see exactly what that process is. So you can do this, you see. And that way you lead with feeler first for all of your marketing. That is what marketing is. It's not blind calling people, just jumping on the phone and saying, oh, I got this great thing, you're going to love it. That's called selling. You should never have to do that. I never do. You warm them all up first, but you don't go and say, well, how are your hemorrhoids and how's your husband? You don't fake relationships. No, I've never done that. You say, here's what I got. Here's what it'll do for you. If you're into this, watch this. They do, or see this, or check this. And they do. And when they say, yeah, I really want this, because we'll fix it so that you've got something where people can say, yeah, call me, talk to me, right? That's when you talk to people, right? If you would like a link to this, we have some helpers in the group who will give you the link to this. I'm pretty sure you probably can sign up today. There's nothing there yet. It's not going to start till August 8th. So this is really for people who want to be sure they get to be one of these first 25. And probably I'll send you an assignment or two so you can get ready. In particular, I want you to watch some of the videos that are in here to get you ready for this. So this is really just a way for our next people who want this to get a shot at being in that first 25. And like I said, the whole thing is not going to be more than 100 people this time around, because that's all we want. And I'm hoping that we get mostly people who know that they have to change how they do their business. If they want an income that's enough to at least, make this your full-time thing. When is the payment due? Well, the first 25. You're going to pay right now. Why? Because you're reserving your space. Yeah. And what I'll do is, we're here. I mean, nobody's going anywhere. But what I'll do is I'll probably give you some exercises to do beforehand. So don't get this if you don't really want to transform how you do your business, because everything I'm going to teach you is going to be the opposite of what you hear from your upline, most likely. But what I would recommend is those of you that do get in, what I would do is not say anything, never denigrate any method, any person, any company, never denigrate anybody. That is like really low life. But don't say anything, you see, and just do the work. And what happens, what's happened to me 6 times, in the last one a couple of years ago, and the first time, People, the first time I ever, because I sold water filters and I didn't really like their brochure, and I certainly wasn't going to get up and read about carbon filter versus crush filter. What is it called? The carbon in the filter and the typical water filters. And there's block and there's granular and all this stuff. And I thought, how stupid, who cares if the water that comes out actually tastes better and tastes as good as the water that's $1 a gallon. And my water is 5 cents a gallon when you buy the filter. That's what people want. So they want better tasting water. If they're like me, where I'd never drink the caca out of the faucet, ever. I don't even want to touch it. We have filters on everything. So, and that's why, right? So that's really what we're looking. And so what happened is, this was my first time I'd ever done it. And I had the sponsor who was kind of this ditzy professor, and that's how we met, right? At a Taekwondo class. And he was also a professor in San Francisco someplace. And so about 2-3 months after I had started, I sold, 300-400 of these things to customers, right? Because I didn't know you should recruit. And he says, Kim, you sold all this stuff. And I said, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You sell stuff. And he says, well, you sold a lot more than other people have sold, and you didn't recruit anybody. So the company wants you to come. So really, yeah, come to Memphis. Like Memphis? Okay, great. Like almost, where's that? Because I wouldn't even think about, I didn't even know where the company headquarters was. I had never even given a talk like that. And so the first time I ever went was to tell them how I had sold, $60,000 or $70,000 worth of these filters and made like 25 grand in my first couple of months. And I couldn't understand why they were even asking me. See, my mindset is market and sell, because I was in real estate. So you market and sell. If you have beachfront property, you should be running ads that say, hey, you want to live on the beachfront? That I am the boss of beachfront properties. If you are, marketing, turnarounds or flips that you do, where you buy something that needs fixer-uppers, and you do that, you call who you want. And then you qualify the people, make sure they're not dead broke and waste your time, and then you do it, right? But I had no idea how they had taught everyone, really mistaught, that everyone's going to want this. Well, maybe in the 50s they did, because people didn't have, they barely had cars in the 50s. But you see, today we have so much choice that if you don't realize I'm just an option. We've got Eric Worre, you've got, Ray Higdon. These are all people I've known for, years. So I'm not the only game in town, but for certain people, we are each other's cup of tea. And that's how it is in life, and that's how it is in marketing. So if this is something you want to learn how to do, if you want the link, what you could do, Amy, can you see in the Zoom who wants a link? Because then what we could do is pull those so we can find the people who want that link, and then we can put them maybe in the specialist group. Can you do that?
Yeah, certainly. And we do have another question from Donna.
Okay.
She just wanted to know if there was going to be an interactive component to it.
Oh, of course. How are we going to help you fix anything? Are you kidding me? That's why it's live. That's why I wanted to give the first 25 people the shot at this price in the next group, because I'm going to do them live. And you are going to do stuff, and I am going to respond, and so is Brooke. We are going to be all over this to help you do this. We won't do it for you, but we will show you how to do it so that your mind is the one that changes. It's like doing the gym. If we work out for you, unfortunately, your body doesn't change. So you are going to be made to do stuff that you've probably never done. Just like working out, you're going to go, ow. And I'm going to say, don't worry, do it again. Ow, ow, ow. And pretty soon it's like, oh, now I can lift 10 pounds before an ow. And you change how you think, what you do, and how you present. And when you see the results changing and how people see you as an advisor instead of one of these people just selling stuff, that will be your motivation, you see. So I'm just going to get you to that first place. Now, that's why it's live. And that's why it's special, And that's why they said you should charge $3,000. It's like, no, I'm going to do this for the first my folks in this group. So yes, it will be interactive. Absolutely, totally. You're going to submit your stuff and we're going to fix it. In fact, some of there's a lady whose initials, whose first name is Brooke also, and her last name starts with a C. So if you don't know, then you don't need to know. But if you do know her, we met many years ago in a class with Frank Kern. He had a group like this, and it was in his inner circle, and she was presenting what she had done. And he told her, this is what you need to do. You need to do that, this, that, blah, 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 blah. And then she came back the next week and did it again. And at that time, she was a consultant, a coach, and she was making, I think, about $30,000 a month, which for people in the coaching businesses that help people, you know, for a couple thousand, $2,000, $3,000, that's pretty good. And over the next 3 years, or maybe 4 years, maybe 3, she has built her business up from $30,000 a month by getting interaction from Frank and the people in the program and going out and testing it, coming back, doing it again and testing it and changing herself. And she now has a business that does $1.5 million per month. It's about $15 million a year. So this is to tell you what is possible for some people. Now she sells a program that's like, you know, depending on which one you get, $8 or $10 or $15 or $20,000, depending on what it is. So she doesn't need very many people to get those kind of incomes. But you see, in your business, if you get 100 customers or 3 recruits, it can totally change everything. And if you don't get any, because you keep buying what your upline said, that you have to talk to everybody, I'm telling you, let people go. Jesus only got 12. He was hustling up for 3 years, and that's all he got is 12. Right? And they were all volunteers too, you see. If you want to help people, you will know that you cannot help everyone. That brother-in-law, leave him the way he is. If he wants to weigh 300 and have diabetes and worry about the virus catching him and then he's going to die because he's got pre-existing conditions, you cannot really force him to change what he puts in his mouth. You want to find the people who say, me, I want this. I'm ready for this. And it's maybe 1 in 10, 1 in 20, but you only talk to those people. You see that? This is what we're doing. Yeah, we're getting packed up. This is good. Okay, let me give you the link in just a few minutes here. It's so new, but we thought about this as like, who could we help to get off the dime and it would be affordable for someone who wants a business? Now, if you're going, oh man, that's like so much money, then probably you're not really ready to build your business. Businesses are not built on $0. You have to put in money, find it, the rich uncle, mow some lawn, sell some stuff. You see, if you're really motivated to make a change so that you can help the people that you think you can help, right? Really, because you believe in what you've got and what you can do and how you can do it, and there are people out there waiting for a leader like you, then you come up with it. So if your mind is going, oh, that's like she's raping me and this is like, then probably no business is going to really work for you. Because yeah, the upline will say, and the company will tell you, just talk to people, don't cost you anything. Well, if that's working for you, do it. If it isn't, just know it's not you. It's that you're talking to the wrong people. Everyone is never our prospect. But if you keep believing that, you'll keep doing that and you'll keep getting the same results. Just know, when you're ready to make a shift, your brain will go, oh, you know, I have a jar of old coins up in the closet. I have this, I could sell this and easily get $1,200. But if your brain doesn't do that, it just means that your level of desire for helping people change their lives just isn't strong enough yet, or your confidence isn't strong enough. Don't worry, just stay in the group. We have a lot of value stuff in here in the group, okay? At some point it changes and the people say, the light went on. It's like, oh, I want to do that. Okay, so we have some requests there for the link, and whoever's in the next group on Facebook, just connect with those folks. All right, so we will do these, and then as soon as we have our first 25, that'll be good for that group, and then we'll market it at the regular price after that. So we're good to go. All right, I hope this has been helpful for you regardless. And you know, if you're thinking about what you can do to market, you can also go to Amazon and get books on marketing. I think there's something called the 1 Minute Marketer. There's also that red book if you'd like to get some, some help with just getting a book or two, you definitely can do that. Just go to Amazon, say, what's the number one selling Amazon book on marketing? And then you can do that. Okay. So there are a lot of options. Plus there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, guys. All right. Thanks, you guys.